the King of Africa, DDP, taking on Khamzat Chimaev.
I don't know anymore, man. I used to think, you know what, DDP's got him. But Chimaev is truly on a different level. I'm leaning towards DDP. Chimaev is a round one guy.
If Chimaev cannot get him down,
He will.
I think DDP is going to do what he does best. He's going to be awkward.
It's going to be a my turn fight. I think DDP will start the first round with... This might sound like such a casual take. What do you think about DDP shooting on Chimaev? If you shoot at the same time, I'm going to head clash with you. Take fights on your terms.
Yeah.
If he gets the better of you, which he will, and if he takes you down, don't try and get back up. If you're going to end up on the ground, but you can decide, how does Chimaev work from full guard?
Why are you so intelligent?
The upcoming showdown between Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus du Plessis is one of the most anticipated matchups in MMA. The clash of two very different styles, combined with their respective momentum, has the entire MMA community buzzing with predictions and speculation. From analysts to former champions, everyone has weighed in on the possible outcome of this explosive fight.
Renner has trained with both of them. He said there's going to be an early storm by Chimaev, but he believes Dricus can sustain the storm, and each passing minute favors Dricus. Now, what he's talking about is conditioning. If you asked me about that fight 2 years ago or a year ago, even 6 months ago, I would have quickly dismissed it and told you Chimaev. I would tell you Chimaev every single round. But I don't feel that way anymore. I feel and I'm seeing what other people are feeling and seeing. The greatness of Dricus, it is something that is now not only witnessed, but recognized.
One of the most intriguing perspectives comes from Michael Venom Page, a former fighter and now an analyst, who sees Khamzat Chimaev's explosive athleticism as a major factor in this fight. Page highlights Chimaev's ability to transition smoothly between striking and grappling, making him unpredictable and dangerous, especially early on. If Chimaev can keep his pace high and effectively land his strikes in the opening rounds, he could very well finish the fight before du Plessis has time to get into a rhythm. Page believes that Chimaev's raw physicality and aggressive style will be too much for du Plessis to handle in the first few rounds. However, Page acknowledges that du Plessis' momentum, toughness, and his championship aura could potentially shift the tide later in the fight.
I don't see anybody beating him.
I like Khamzat too. I think he's been really incredible.
Yeah, definitely. He looked better in the last fight. Obviously, it didn't last long, so we didn't get to see it. But normally, he's like Crash Bandicoot the first round, and then his energy dips.
DDP has been interesting though.
I feel like Dricus is very underrated for
but
a
that's
belt
the thing.
holder here.
But that's the thing. If anybody was to, it would be Dricus, because that is the muscular endurance. If you look at like some of the fights nowadays, Mirab, Dricus, these guys that have the muscular endurance to be fighting at 7 the whole fight. And you got someone like Mirab that's 7, 8 from start to finish, mate, that's difficult to deal with. And Dricus seems exactly the same. He's like 7, 8 the whole time. So if you don't kill him and get him out of there in that first round, second round, then you're gonna have a problem for the rest of the fight.
Ilia Topuria, a fighter who knows both men intimately, also offers his unique perspective. While Topuria admits that Chimaev's aggressive, high-pressure style could prove effective, he agrees that the bout is close. Du Plessis brings a tough and resilient defense to the table, and Topuria acknowledges that it won't be easy for Chimaev to get through him. Both fighters have their own strengths, and Topuria describes the fight as one of the most compelling matchups in recent MMA history. Chimaev's relentless offense versus du Plessis' unorthodox but effective defense makes this a highly unpredictable encounter, and Topuria seems to think it could go either way.
He's the man. He's a savage. He calls him his shots. He finishes his opponents. When he goes inside the octagon, you know that that guy goes for the finish. He's not looking for the decision. That's why I respect Khamzat. He's a beast. So he deserves to fight for the title as soon as possible. We're gonna have an amazing fight because I love Dricus du Plessis. He's a great human being. I have a great relationship with him. I have a great relationship with Khamzat also. But as a fan of mixed martial arts, it's gonna be a very exciting fight. I hope the best man wins, and I wish best of the luck to both of them.
Johnny Eblen, a former Bellator champion and top middleweight contender, is more skeptical about Chimaev's ability to dominate. He points to Chimaev's past performances against fighters like Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman, where Chimaev showed vulnerabilities that Eblen believes are often overlooked by fans and analysts. Eblen doesn't view Chimaev as an unstoppable force, and he feels du Plessis' experience in 5-round wars gives him an edge.
Like the man, like a guy to avoid.
He's not though. He's a guy. He's just a human. Yeah, he's just a human. Like Gilbert made him look human. Usman made him look human. I think DDP is gonna make him look human. You know. Plus DDP is like a big physical guy. I don't think Khamzat's gonna just manhandle him. You know, and also his cardio is a little questionable. I don't think DDP's cardio is as questionable. You know, he gets tired, but like he still has a lot of output. Like watching Chimaev with Usman, you know, third round, he was looking
and even Gilbert,
tired. And Gilbert, he Gilbert like an idiot though. He Gilbert pretty dumb. Like he was like kind of letting him up, like trying to be exciting, I think.
Brendan Schaub, another prominent analyst, predicts a Du Plessis victory as well. Schaub believes that Chimaev's best chance of winning is in the first few rounds, but if he doesn't secure the finish early, Du Plessis will start to take over. Schaub is particularly confident in Du Plessis' ability to assert control from the third round onward. He also points out the size difference between the two fighters, which could be a critical factor in the latter stages of the fight.
I got a feeling DDP wins that.
I have Khamzat.
I don't.
Yeah.
If Khamzat can get done the first round and a half, maybe. I just think that thing goes past the third and DDP takes over. I think he TKOs him.
I think Khamzat is a better striker, and I think Khamzat's a better wrestler, and I think DDP is a killer. But I think it's Khamzat's time.
Could be totally off on Khamzat. He's a minus 200, dude. Take my money.
Really, you got DDP?
Yes, especially as a dog. I figured it'd be the favorite.
I have to say,
I figured DDP would be like a minus 150. Well, Khamzat, I look at the Gilbert Burns fight. You know, you look at the Kamaru Usman fight, you're like, okay.
Yeah, but he did out wrestle Kamaru.
Ariel Helwani, another respected voice in the MMA community, offers a slightly different take. Helwani agrees with the consensus that Chimaev is likely to dominate early, but he believes Du Plessis' chances increase as the fight moves into the championship rounds. Du Plessis has a track record of going the distance, adjusting his game plan as the fight evolves, and surviving the pressure. If Chimaev can't finish Du Plessis early, Helwani believes that the South African's ability to endure and adapt will give him the upper hand. As the rounds go by, Du Plessis may be able to find his rhythm and exploit Chimaev's weaknesses, particularly as Chimaev's energy starts to fade.
I think DDP figures it out. I think he takes him to deep water and he figures it out, and I think it's like a learning lesson for him and all this stuff.
I like it.
Yeah.
The main question that looms over the fight is whether Chimaev can maintain his intense pace for 5 rounds, especially against someone as tough and durable as Du Plessis. Many analysts have divided opinions on how this will play out, with some believing that Chimaev's explosiveness will overwhelm Du Plessis early, while others argue that the South African's resilience will shine through as the fight progresses. TJ Dillashaw, the former bantamweight champion, has some advice for Chimaev ahead of the fight. Dillashaw, who has been through the grind of preparing for 5-round championship bouts, emphasizes that endurance will be crucial for Chimaev. He believes that while Chimaev's talent is undeniable, mental and physical preparation for a grueling 5-round fight will be essential for his success. Dillashaw believes that if Chimaev isn't prepared to go the full distance, he could find himself in trouble against someone as seasoned as Du Plessis.
Everyone's heart rate, right? You get into the red zone, you start producing lactic acid, you get tired. The only way to make that better is to be in that red zone for as long as possible and train to be there longer. Also get used to it mentally. If he can start training that, he should listen to Armin, because Armin's doing it with Sam Calavita now. It'd be awesome if we can get Chimaev up there as well too. He would have, I would put a lot more money on Chimaev if he trains the right way for his cardio. If he doesn't train his cardio the right way, I think it's gonna be hard for him to put DDP away, and DDP's gonna get him in the later rounds and gas him out.
Meanwhile, Caio Borralho has made an eyebrow-raising claim. According to Borralho, there have been rumors circulating that Chimaev could retire if he wins the middleweight title. Borralho, who has trained with Chimaev in the past, suggests that the pressure surrounding the fighter, coupled with potential health concerns, could lead Chimaev to retire if he secures the belt. Chimaev has reportedly accumulated enough wealth and attention to consider stepping away from the sport after achieving this ultimate goal. However, it's important to note that Borralho's comments are based on hearsay, and while some fans find the notion intriguing, others remain skeptical about its validity.
Are you going to be riding with the DDP for this one, or you think Khamzat is going to walk away the champion? Actually, right now, it's hard to bet against DDP. I always bet against him, and he always shoot my mouth. But it's hard to bet against Khamzat. I think this fight can be really, really fast as the Whittaker fight. But I can see this fight going into the second, the third round, and then I see some advantage for Dricus. You know what I mean?
Chael Sonnen, always an outspoken figure in MMA, took issue with the negative narrative surrounding Chimaev's past health issues, particularly when it comes to his fight cancellations. Sonnen addressed comments made by Plesis, who had mocked Chimaev's past withdrawals, implying that Chimaev could pull out of the fight once again. Sonnen pushed back, reminding everyone that Chimaev's most significant cancellation occurred during the COVID-19 pandemic when he was critically ill. According to Sonnen, it's unfair to hold this against Chimaev when the circumstances were extraordinary. He made the case that Chimaev's past health struggles should not be used as a reason to doubt his performance or future in the sport.
I feel like this rises the stock of Ivanov, who, by the way, after getting an incredible win over Adesanya, does deserve something. He did look like kind of the odd man out as the other 85-pounders were getting matched up, so I think it makes a lot of sense. Now, Dricus went a step further. Dricus took the post that says Ivanov will be backup fighter, and Dricus took that as an announcement that in Chicago later this year, he will be defending his title against Ivanov because he believes that Chimaev, who has a history of pulling out of fights, is going to stick true to form and pull out of the fight. And by the way, that's a little bit of a false rumor. That whole idea that Chimaev has had to pull out of a bunch of fights, that really is a little bit of a false rumor. And I could break that down and you could show me your evidence, but I mean, come on. When the pandemic hit, Chimaev never thought he was going to fight again. He thought he was going to be one of the statistics. He was on a ventilator. He didn't believe he was ever going to leave that room. So that was the first of the fights that he had to pull out of. And I just share for you in extreme cases such as that. I don't know that 5 years later we stick around and use that to try to like pierce the veil of this guy's immaculate credibility. So
from a technical standpoint, Bo Nickal, another up-and-coming fighter, sees Chimaev's grappling as a prime example of the pressure-based fighting style that is becoming more common in MMA. Nickal believes that Chimaev's control, top pressure, and relentless grappling are his main weapons, and they will continue to serve him well in his fight against Plesis. Chimaev's ability to pressure his opponents and maintain control throughout the fight has been a defining characteristic of his career, and Nickal feels that this will be no different against Plesis.
Based on the styles, I just think the grappling style, you know, I might be biased. I'm definitely biased, but I think the grappling style is so hard to beat, and it's so hard to defend against. And I guess if you look at it from a analytical point of view, you have so many. It's really become the dominant force in the sport. You got Merab, you got Islam, you got Bilal, you got Khamzat. You even have you can even look at Topuria. Obviously, people know he's more of a boxing style, and he does a lot more striking. But his background is wrestling. You know, he did that before anything else, and so it's really wrestlers that are dominating. Grapplers that are dominating the sport right now. And
Yoel Romero, another veteran with elite grappling, shares a similar opinion on Chimaev's grappling ability. Romero believes that Chimaev's Olympic-level wrestling could be the key difference maker in this fight. However, Romero also acknowledges Plesis' toughness, making it clear that this will not be an easy fight for Chimaev. Plesis' ability to grind through adversity is something that many fighters, including Romero, find impressive. While Chimaev's wrestling may give him the edge, Romero sees this fight as one where Plesis' resilience could force Chimaev to dig deep and face challenges he hasn't encountered before.
1640. Johnson.
You have what? Sorry, who do you think? 60 Dricus?
16% for Chimaev and 40% for Plesis. Yeah, that's a one.
So you think Chimaev? You're kind of slightly leaning towards Chimaev. Yes. Why? Why do you think?
Wrestling. The wrestling. The wrestling for Chimaev right now is very, very dangerous.
Kamaru Usman, who faced Chimaev in a high-profile contest, has some concerns about Chimaev's ability to sustain his grappling pressure against someone as tough as Duplessis. Usman acknowledges that Chimaev's strength and top control are formidable, but he also suggests that Duplessis' resilience could make it harder for Chimaev to maintain that dominance throughout the fight. Usman believes that Chimaev will need to keep up the pressure for the entire 5 rounds if he wants to secure the victory. However, the difficulty of that task becomes clear when considering Duplessis' ability to survive and grind through difficult situations.
Khamzat Chimaev on your back in round 1 is not easy to get off. And then he was able to sink that in. And that goes to show how strong of a squeeze this freaking dude had.
Could he pull that same style against Dricus Duplessis? Because I will say this.
1000%.
Interestingly, Darren Till, a fighter who has trained with Chimaev and faced Duplessis, sees this as a nightmare matchup for the South African. Till believes that Chimaev's early explosiveness, power, and pace will be too much for Duplessis to handle in the first 2 rounds. Till predicts that Chimaev will finish Duplessis early, citing the speed and intensity of Chimaev's attacks as the deciding factor.
If I went back to the UFC now, as the middleweight I could be, I'd tear that Dricus' head off. Tell Dricus I said fuck him, by the way. The little fucking gobshite. Because I can't stand his guts, because he's so good.
You think he beats Khamzat, your boy?
No, look, I'm with respect, I'm never going to look past Dricus because he trains hard, he's super dedicated, he's super strong, and he's got that awkward style that doesn't make any sense. I think Khamzat will beat him inside the 2 rounds. I really do believe that. But look, Khamzat knows. I was speaking to Khamzat on the FaceTime the other day because I'm meant to be going out to Dubai to help with the camp. Khamzat knows it's a tough fight, but you know, Khamzat trains like a beast. I do think Khamzat gets it in 2 rounds done. Do you know what I'm saying?
By the way, you're looking svelte. You're looking great. How much are you weighing right now?
Everyone's been saying that, you know, that I'm looking fabulous.
Yeah, you are.
Ariel, let's just go. Do I look fabulous?
I think you look fabulous. The teeth are just like blinding me. I wish I was wearing sunglasses right now, but you're looking fit. Way fitter than the last time, right?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to show me another thing there. It was getting very low, the camera. It was weird. I was
whoa.
It was uncomfortable.
Whoa. Only my missus gets to see that, Ariel. Don't be disrespectful.
Luke Rockhold shares a similar sentiment, agreeing that Chimaev's early aggression could overwhelm Duplessis. However, Rockhold also believes that if the fight stretches into the later rounds, Duplessis' conditioning and durability could play a pivotal role in wearing down Chimaev. Rockhold sees the fight as one that Chimaev could dominate early, but if it goes past the 2nd round, Duplessis' ability to endure and adapt could give him the advantage.
It's not always about the most technical guy, you know, it's the guy who wants it more. And
how do you think he fares against Khamzat?
I think Khamzat is a go for broke kind of guy. Khamzat, if he can't out wrestle you, he can't control you in that fierce state of direction of what he does, you know, I think he'll break. Khamzat will get him if he'll get him, but if he can't get him, it's going to be a hard 3rd, 4th, and 5th round. Right. I think that's going to be all Dricus.
So if it goes into the championship rounds, you like the champ?
Dominic Cruz, ever the strategist, highlights Duplessis' striking versatility as a potential problem for Chimaev. Cruz believes that Duplessis' ability to switch stances and create unpredictable angles could throw Chimaev off, especially when it comes to avoiding takedowns. Cruz feels that if Duplessis can keep the fight standing, he'll have the advantage, particularly because of his unpredictability and ability to strike from multiple angles.
Man, I actually really like Dricus right now, the way he's looking. Like I said in the Schmo interview, he doesn't really stay on the center line. His striking and the stance switch really supports him in the rest of the takedown defense. Yeah. Because as long as you don't sit right in front of a guy consistently, it's hard to get a hold of the legs and shoot on you. So he's also very big and strong, so I think he can challenge the strength of Chimaev in the first 2 rounds, which a lot of people haven't been able to rival. Just the strength alone has been too much, and I think Dricus is sturdy enough and big enough he can challenge it, but I will say I think it might be the toughest fight of his career so far.
Sean Strickland, who has trained with both fighters, is equally confident in Duplessis' ability to neutralize Chimaev's wrestling. Strickland believes that Chimaev's wrestling will be exposed as overrated and that Duplessis will be able to handle it. If Duplessis can keep the fight on the feet and avoid Chimaev's takedowns, Strickland believes he'll have all the tools to win.
You know, he beats DDP, or do you think DDP retains?
You know, it's hard. So those little Chechen
I don't want to say Chechen. He's not Chechen. He's Swedish. But those little Chechen whore, like, dude, they can grapple. And like someone like me who I've been training for years, I usually could counter wrestle and grapple them. So I just don't know if Dricus can be able to counter wrestle him.
Yeah.
But if he can, I think he wins all hands down. You know, I mean, I sparred the fucking Chechen whore, like, hands down. I think Dricus wins.
In the end, this fight is a clash of two contrasting styles. Chimaev's explosive, pressure-heavy approach versus Du Plessis' gritty, resilient fighting makes this one of the most fascinating matchups in MMA today.